Well, good day from cold Florida. Probably wouldn't be cold to y'all, okay? But I'm from Florida and it's cold to me. So let's go ahead and get this video started now. So, not in love with this video today that I'm going to do. Maybe it'll turn out better than I thought. I don't know. I liked it when I had it in my brain, and then when I started writing it down, I don't know, I felt like I was all over the place with it. Maybe it'll be a help to you, or maybe I'll look like an idiot, but I ain't got my microphone hooked up today because, like I said, it's cold, so I got the windows up, so you can probably hear me pretty decent, I think. Plus, I got the charger plugged into the phone, and last time I used the charger and the microphone together, it didn't work out so well. So I'm trying not to use the microphone today. But like I said, I'll get to that later. But before we get started, I told y'all that I started a group, the Gospel of Forgiveness group. I pinned the post that has the link at the top of the Facebook page. Hasn't really took off like I thought it would. I kind of thought we'd have more than 5 people in it now, which is really 4 because it counts me as a member. But yeah, so if you're watching this video and you haven't joined a group yet, head on over and join the group because it's just not taking off like I thought it would. I thought it would go over with like a big hit, but not so much. Today's video about hypocrites. I think I did a video about this before. But like I said, I've done so many videos now, I'm kind of starting to lose track. I need to write them down is what I need to do. I used to keep them wrote down. You know, this day I did this video, but then I stopped doing that. At some point, I need to get back into that. A whole lot of things y'all don't need to know about. But, hope y'all can see me. I turned the truck around just so the sunlight, what little bit there is, which is none, would be better. But today we're going to talk about hypocrites. Hypocrites. And I actually got something wrote down here that is completely wrong, I found out. Well, actually, it's not wrong. So, a hypocrite. What is a hypocrite? One who puts, this is a definition I got from somewhere, I don't remember. BibleStudyTools.com. I want to say that's where I got it from. One who puts on a mask and feigns himself to be what he is not. A dissembler in religion. And I looked a couple definitions up. And the problem with people nowadays apparently is they don't really understand what a hypocrite is. People think that if you are religious, if you know, pretend to be religious, but you really don't, you don't practice what you preach, basically. They think that that is a hypocrite. That is one form of a hypocrite, but that, they think what am I saying? They think hypocrisy only has to do with someone who's religious, but really it can have something to do with anything. Like if you're like a vegan and you're telling people that eat meat's bad, but then you're eating like bacon bits on your salad or something, that would make you a hypocrite. Nothing to do with religion there, but so that's why I looked for this. That's why I checked around until I got a definition I thought was appropriate. But I looked it up in my Blue Letter Bible app, which is a fantastic app if you study the Bible. I have downloaded a bunch of different Bible study apps for my phone to use, and Blue Letter is like the one I always go to. It's one of my favorites. I've pretty much deleted all the other ones I got, but Blue Letter is awesome. So, and it said that the word hypocrite is in the KJV 11 times, and I was like, well, that don't sound right. Seems like it would be in there more than that. But then I realized they were I put the word hypocrite in, and they only showed me that word, not variations like hypocrites. They didn't show me. So I wish I'd have done that. but I only put in hypocrite. But what's the most well-known? Probably the most well-known. Can I read today? Probably the most well-known example of hypocrites. Matthew 7. I'm sure you know this one. In fact, I did a video on this one way back when I first started. Chapter 7, first 5 verses. Judge not that ye be not judged, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete it, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy own eye. So that's a known reference to the word hypocrite. And the thing about this verse, like I said in that video, which is not what this video is about, but I'll just touch on it briefly. 99.9% of people in the world don't have a clue what this passage is talking about. Because what is the non-believer's favorite thing to tell you? If you say, hey, you know, that's a sin, God don't really. Judge not, lest you be judged. Don't judge me. The Bible says not to judge. No, don't say that. If you see, because they're only looking at that first verse. Judge not that you be not judged. They don't. There's more verses there. I don't know if you're aware of that. There's more verses, basically saying, don't judge somebody that you're guilty of doing. Okay, so if I kindly point out to someone, hey, that's a sin. Now, just to enlighten them that it's a sin, hey, what you're doing there is God considers that a sin. And if it's a sin I'm not guilty of doing, like say I come up to somebody and they're sleeping around with a whole bunch of women, just every weekend they're going out trying to find them some woman to lay down with, I'm not guilty of doing it. I ain't even dated nobody like too long. But I ain't guilty of doing that, so there's no beam in my eye for that, you know? So when I'm going to say, hey, that's wrong, but you've done it. I've done it many years ago, but at this time, I'm not guilty of this sin. I've repented of that sin. It's in my past. So I'm perfectly all right telling somebody that. But no one likes to be a hypocrite, but we're all hypocrites. I'm a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. Everybody's a hypocrite. You can't go nowhere. There's no person in the world who ain't one at some point. And you might point at somebody and be like, they ain't never a hypocrite. They are. You might just not know it. Maybe they don't know it. Because nobody really intends to be a hypocrite. But we'll get to that in a minute. And people say, I don't go to church. There's hypocrites at church. Well, there's hypocrites everywhere. The problem is they don't go to church because they're a sinner. And if they go to church, they're going to hear that they're a sinner. So they got to come up with some reason they don't want to go. So they just say, oh, it's hypocrites. Well, you went to the bar last night. Or I guess club is the thing people go to now. Well, you was out at the club last night. There's hypocrites at the club. And anyway. No one wakes up in the morning, like I said. Nobody wakes up in the morning and be like, I'm going to be a hypocrite today. What can I be a hypocrite about? Nobody wake up and say that. Christians don't wake up intending to sin every day either. But I do. Let me give you an example. Here's an example of something. Because when people think Christians don't sin, we do. But the things that we sin to you wouldn't seem like a sin. They wouldn't seem like a big deal. But for us who know Christ and we've read the Bible and we understand these things. The other day, I don't even remember where I was at. I was driving, obviously, because that's when most of my sin happens. I was driving, and some dude just came around me I mean, I was going pretty quick. I was breaking the speed limit, to be honest with you, because you got to in that particular area. But I was going maybe 10 miles over the speed limit. This guy passes me like I'm standing still. Jerks in front of me, up a little ways, jerks back in front of that guy. And my first thought, I hope you wreck and die. I hope you crash your car and die, was my first thought, and immediately repented of it. I was like, Lord, forgive me for saying that. That is not the right thing to say. That's the kind of sin that I'm guilty of, and I'm sure some of y'all are too, that the rest of the world, they wouldn't think of that as a sin. So that's why I say, well, Christians sin too. Yeah, but see what I'm talking about? I sinned, a thought, sin I shouldn't have thought, and I repented of it immediately. But they wouldn't. If it was an unbeliever, they probably wouldn't do that. So, and you know, Christians don't wake up in the morning intending to sin, but they do. That's why, and that's how some Christians that get caught up in sin start living in sin like you're not supposed to do. And that makes them look like a hypocrite. Also, legalism too. Man, this video could really get long if I started jumping off down these rabbit holes. But you could easily be called a hypocrite by somebody who just is legalistic. Like their understanding of Christianity is legalism. Maybe they grew up that way and they're, I don't know. That well, you're doing that, you're not supposed to do that. And you're like, actually, there's nothing in the Bible that says that it's not a sin. And, you know, that's just how some Christians are. They'll tell people, well, this is a sin, this is a sin. Well, no, actually, no, it's not a sin. But some people get that impression from that kind. Richard, stay on track. So, most Christians, air quotes, you know I love air quotes. Most Christians you see in the church, they are hypocrites, blatantly. They're probably not really Christians to begin with, probably not even saved. But that goes back to my discipleship thing at the same time. Like, was that the video we did last week? No, it was a podcast we did last week on discipleship. Probably some Christians, maybe they are saved. And they are kind of sinful, maybe living in sin a little bit because they don't know no better because ain't nobody discipled. But, just touching on that. And I got something here about products that we buy and use. Because there's an argument, well, it wasn't really an argument. I was just kind of looking. Or somebody posted something about Starbucks cup has some kind of false god on it, which who cares? But the thing is, everybody was in there because it's a group for Baptists and it's mostly young people, like early 20s type of people. So you know millennials ain't giving up their Starbucks for nothing, even Christian ones. And granted, the guy's argument is dumb about the whole logo on the Starbucks cup. Dumb argument. But what's not dumb is the fact that Planned Parenthood gets a lot of money from Starbucks, or at least the CEO. So we know Starbucks is liberal as all get out, and we know that they support all the things that this Bible says is wicked sin. But yet we go in there and we give them our money for their coffee, and then they take our money and they give it to Planned Parenthood. And we're totally cool with that. Even though, abortion's wrong. Here you go, Starbucks. Give this to Planned Parenthood for me. So there's kind of being a hypocrite there. But I digress because there's a lot of companies like that we know about Starbucks. And I don't go to Starbucks just because the coffee tastes like sludge. It's disgusting. It tastes like turpentine. So I don't go to Starbucks anyway. But they're blatantly liberal. So why would you give them their money? I like Mountain Dew made by Pepsi. Pepsi's pretty liberal. So who knows what they do? Who knows what they do that I wouldn't disagree with, or I would disagree with? Let's see some of the verses I came up with. And y'all see I'm using black. I went back to it. I just can't get away from it. That red one I told you I was going to use for the end of the year, the cover on it is just so soft. It just gets crinkled up in my bag. This one's nice and easy to carry around. I don't have to put it in my bag. And I'm just rambling. On. That's what I'm doing right now. Job, chapter 8. Of the 11 verses in the KJV that had the word hypocrite in them, probably 3/4 of them were in Job. So most of them were in Job. Job 8. I didn't write every one of them down. Just some. Job 8, 11 through 15. Let me start in 10. Shall not they teach thee and tell thee and utter words out of their heart? Can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water? Whilst it is yet in his greenness, and not cut down, is withereth before any other herb. So are the paths of all that forget God, and the hypocrite's hope shall perish. Whose hope shall be cut off, and whose trust shall be a spider's web. He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand. He shall hold it fast, but it shall not endure. I think that one kind of speaks for itself. I don't really think I need to get too deep in that one. Job 13, 15, and 16. Here's one we know. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. But I will maintain my own ways before him. He also shall be my salvation, for an hypocrite shall not come before him. Kind of sounds like God ain't a big fan of hypocrites. Is the idea I'm getting here. God kind of looks at hypocrisy like sin, because technically it is a sin. Hypocrisy is kind of like lying, but not with your mouth, because you're telling people one thing and then you're doing another. So you're sinning with your actions, not so much with your words, which is majority of sin, I guess. I already told you how I got the video topic. I don't know why I skipped ahead to that. But my point was, I see people like that all the time when I'm driving down the road. That's where I was going with that. See all kind of people, and I'm not putting them down, because I'm the same way. I love this country. I think we are a nation of laws. That's how we maintain order. That's how we have civilized society in any country, is your system of laws. And people will see these dumb idiots on TV. They call it a protest, but they're breaking into buildings, burning stuff down. And it's all kind of nonsense. That's not how you protest. And we'll be like, oh, well, we're a nation of laws and this and that, and all kinds of patriotic stuff about how we're a nation of laws. But then somebody, well, I'm already going 10 miles over the speed limit, will just blow past me like I'm standing still. So it was like a 55. Say I'm doing about 65. Okay? Blow past me like I'm standing still. He must have been doing about 80 in a 55. Then I get to the red light. The dude behind the light turns red. Okay, so I stop. Now, this is not a very. This intersection is, I can't show you, but it's just weird because they're building an overpass there, so it's not a very busy intersection, and so the light turns red, but there's nobody coming. So the guy behind me pulls out to the other lane and runs the red light. And that's the second time that's happened to me. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, are these the same people who they're watching their news and they're seeing stuff on the news and they're like, we're a nation of laws? What laws? The ones you want to obey? Because the law says you stop at that stoplight. You don't go 40 miles over the speed limit. That's what the law says, but you only obey the laws that you want to obey. I'm not saying I'll do the speed limit all the time either. But I don't do no crazy stuff like 80 over either. But saying, I just don't understand it. That's hypocritical. We're a nation of laws. Except for when I'm wanting to run the speed limit or get past this red light. Makes you a hypocrite. But let's wrap it up. Bro, goodness, we're at 20 minutes already. Why'd y'all let me ramble on like that? Isaiah 9:17. Good news. Got good news for hypocrites. We're all hypocrites. I'm one. I'll tell you right now, I'm one. Where are we at? Isaiah 9:17. Therefore the Lord shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall have mercy on their fatherless and widows. For everyone is an hypocrite and an evildoer, like I just said. And every mouth speaketh folly. For all this his anger is not turned away. Okay, get ready for your hallelujah moment. Because that's what I did when I read this. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Yeah. That's what I said when I read that too. His anger is not turned away. His anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Even though he's mad at Israel, let's not take it out of context here. He's mad at Israel. Even though he's mad and he's going to punish them, he's still got his hand out. He still wants them. He still wants them. So remember that today, hypocrite. Whether you're lost or not lost, whether you're a believer in Jesus, saved, not saved, especially if you're not saved, pay attention to that. His anger ain't turned away. Okay, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ as your Savior, and you're living in sin, you ain't been forgiven, you ain't had your relationship with God made right, his anger ain't turned away. You are going to pay for it someday, eternity in hell. But his hand is still stretched out. Even though he's mad, even though you're still going to face his wrath when you die, his hand's still stretched out. You still have an opportunity to come to him. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video today, and I think it turned out better than I thought it was going to. But anyway, remember, join the group, because if not, then the 4 people that's in there are just going to be my feedback pool there to get ideas for the show. If you want to have a hand and decide on what topics we discuss, then go join the group. And I keep sharing it. Nobody sees it. Might be Facebook's fault. Podcast this week will be on something. I have no idea. That's just one of them things I do. I've come up with it last minute. And it seems to work that way, so why change it? Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. But YouTube channel, subscribe. Like the video if you want to. That'd be great. Facebook and Instagram page at Gospel Liver Gimmicks. And I'm going to wrap this up because we're at 23 minutes and this thing is going to take forever to upload. So until next time, take up your cross, carry on.